This is Smithy.tv.
Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to or watching, whatever you're doing, to 5 Questions with Jeremy Lalonde. I'm Jeremy Lalonde, and with me today, whenever you're doing this, is Craig Goodwill, who is a fellow filmmaker.
Thank you for having me.
Than's for coming on.
Oh, that's right. We're on TV as well.
Yeah, well, if you're watching it on TV, you could just be doing it through iTunes or all that fun stuff. So, for those who don't know, Craig, I mean, you've done a shitload of stuff. Like, you do a little bit of everything when it comes to media. You're all over the place.
Yes, all over the place. Just trying to find some place that feels completely natural.
The place that fits.
I enjoy all aspects of media creation. Whatever, it's all a platform to tell a story. So sometimes those things happen in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Well, you started. And just to bring you up in Craig's most recent project is Craig's currently in post production with me on Patchtown.
Yes,
but we'll get to that. We can talk about that in a bit.
No.
We spend a lot of time on Patchtown every day right now.
Yes.
So, you started off as as a PA or like a director's assistant, right?
Well, I moved to Toronto and I became managing editor of my college paper. That kind of got me out into the world in terms of Toronto media. And then a friend offered me to PA in the summertime on commercials. My first commercial was a David Wellington commercial. And kind of just worked my way up through the production office system and PAs and went into the office and then started PAing on features and started director and producing assistant on features as well for great people like Stallone and Gus Van Sant. And
you were with Stallone?
Yes, I was his assistant.
On what movie?
On Driven. I was his writing assistant.
How's that work? What was the... was he just throwing shit at you and you did...
You'd work through scenes together. You'd fix his misunderstanding of the word of then and then, and which to the point which tricked your own mind. You had no understanding in a 157-page script what that meant either by the end. But super nice guy, super talented. He won an Oscar for Rocky, so he's kind of the blue collar guy, and he knows how to write like that. And super nice guy. So Amy Heckerling and a bunch of other people, and then I realized I wasn't going to get to where I wanted to get to doing that because you just, it's the LA lie. So ultimately, you get to say we're going to be brought down to LA, and you're going to be my assistant in LA, and
I'll set you up.
Yeah, I'll set you up, and that never really comes to fruition. So you have to go create things yourself. So I became a senior producer of a show called The Lofters. And actually, Big Brother Canada started tonight, which is hosted by an ex-lofter, crazy enough. And then from there, went to Much Music, then directed and produced for National Geographic and CBC and documentaries in Haiti and West Africa. You've been all over the world. Yeah. For years, I was... I consider a journalist, I guess. That way I was in college and ultimately started making documentaries for CBC and other big kind of networks, and that took me around the world doing kind of lots of social justice things and Ukraine during the Orange Revolution, and so I really kind of enjoyed that, and then moved into commercials and everything else, and then reality shows and everything, and then at one point I was Nokia's international mobile filmmaker, so they used to fly me around the world to teach citizen journalism and mobile filmmaking because I had created this thing called Mobile Jam Fest, which was the second mobile film festival in the world. Ours was the first youth outside. I think Albany was the first one, college one. And so it was all about citizen or youth engagement and creativity over mobile phones. It was MSN and Xbox and a lot of different things. We had concerts with Common and Q-Tip and camps around the world and did all this stuff. Ultimately, all pulling me away from what I wanted to do, which was direct feature films or at least tell stories. But it all leads around in the right direction, and you meet people for certain points in your life, and so here we are today. Kind of finished my third short. My first Patchtown was at TIFF and Cannes and Palm Springs, and won the Directors Guild Award. So, and now we're doing a feature of that. So, it's been a good many years.
Yeah. Does it feel weird to expand like something? I mean, I imagine there's a shitload of pressure because you had a lot of success with the short of Patch Town, and now you're blowing it up to 3 times its size.
Yeah, sure.
Life,
Yeah,
right?
if not, yeah, exactly.
So it's like, and just so I mean, we don't have to talk about it, but it's just
No.
like, I can't imagine that it's like there's a lot of pressure to kind of live up to the original.
Yes, but I care, but I don't care. Like I can't. I can't.
Fuck it.
I can't. No, I can't be. No, it's the thing is, it ultimately is the
Well, you can't let
stress
that
by
fuck
which
you.
I live and drives my life.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's I don't see it as stress anymore. It's,
Well, the pressure's there anyway. I think whether you're doing something completely original, because
the thing is, you're never going to appeal to everybody, so you shouldn't necessarily worry about anybody.
Yeah.
And now, not that being said, I understand the business of it and sales agents in the world and markets and all that kind of stuff that really does rule where you are. But I'm making my first feature film, so and I already had success with a short, so I already have a test case that people like the idea. So, will it be 4 times better than the short? That's not what I'm worrying about.
Yeah.
For me, it's a wonderful execution of the longer vision I had for the film. Now, the joke on set is, well, it's going to be amazing when someone gives us $10 million to make the feature and we have to do this thing all over again.
the big studio version.
Yeah,
of Patch Town?
exactly. And then you go crazy your whole life creating, and then we'll do sequels.
And then the series.
Board games.
And the HBO version.
Yeah, and off Broadway. Which has all been discussed.
Patch Town would make a good movie.
It would make a great off-Broadway. So you live with it as much as you can, but you're ultimately, as you know, creating 5 films down the road. You're kind of doing a bunch of different things you're creating and writing with either yourself or multitudes of different people. And then you just want to be hired and given, a great project that someone else wrote and someone else funded, and you're just going to direct it, and how exciting would that just be? So you have all those different things, and at the same time, you're still doing commercials and all this other stuff.
Yeah. I can't remember because we worked together on a reality show a long time ago as well.
We did.
And I know
we not would name it.
then that shall not be named. But I remember because you were talking about Patch Town even back then.
Yes. It's been in my life for 10 years. It's actually I told my wife about it on our first date, and we've been together almost 9 years.
That's
so.
That means the relationship is over.
Yeah, it's the life of the relationship. That's what I'll tell her.
It's not your fault, sweetie. The feature's done.
So you live with these ideas forever, and some you think have legs, and some you don't. And I can't tell you how many things you don't think have legs. And then you don't do anything else with them.
Yeah.
And then some you
Well, it's
feel
a great idea, and then you wake up the next morning going, that's fucking terrible.
And so, but there's always a kernel of something there, because I can't tell you how many times I refer back to something that I originally maybe wrote for something else. So I've been living this for a long time, but I've also been living for the projects that I'm doing in the next 2 years for a long time. So this is one where I felt like I needed to make a mark and an entrance into this world, especially when he didn't go to film school. Like, it was creative writing and journalism and marketing, not necessarily what most people would pick as a filmmaker. But I love telling stories, and I think, and then when you have a visual representation to the way you like to or the way you tell stories, then I think, and then you can understand the marketing and the business side, and the pressures that come into, and then you've been in the rooms with incredible filmmakers over the years. You start cobbling that together, and you feel rather confident in this world that you kind of spend your life in.
Yeah. Well, I always say, especially now, it's like making a film isn't necessarily as hard as getting people to see it. Would you agree?
Oh, I completely agree. Outside your family and your friends and people that want to see you fail, you really got to work hard.
True that.
To get people to see things nowadays. There's so much noise.
Well, that's just it. There's so much stuff that it's just to get someone to give you a chance.
But the wonderful thing is that more than ever before, there's vehicles by which people of our size can actually get the word out there, and we can use the same techniques. We'll never be able to commandeer the entire internet for our film that's launching,
No.
like a Les Mis or something like that. But you ultimately can make a mark, get it to the right people, get out. It's the slow burn sometimes. So you listen. If you can make a great, I just want to have a really beautiful career of experiences, and I think. That's my ultimate goal, and if people can see what I create and I leave a legacy of content for my family or friends or eventually fans, that's a pretty cool thing and a job that most people don't get to have.
Yeah, it's true. And I think we're in a better position now because of stuff like Netflix. Because it's like, especially with our smaller projects where we don't necessarily have, A-list talent involved that are just a brand unto themselves.
We have A-list talent, just not A-list names.
Yeah, no, very fair that now the asshole. Thanks a lot.
No, I don't know. I didn't want to
I
agree.
Jeremy asked. Yeah, exactly. But no. That's how I'm going to say it from now on. Thank you for that. Write that one down. No, but the thing is, it's like before 10 years ago, someone would be going to Blockbuster, or whatever it was, and then you rent a movie or two movies for a night, and so you're gonna.
And you couldn't even get it into Blockbuster.
Yeah. So to give a chance to a smaller movie with the actors that you don't necessarily recognize, it's rare. Where it's like Netflix, you're paying a flat rate. It's like to give something 5-10 minutes of your time costs you nothing but that 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
as long as you've got an interesting premise.
But you have the the internet is the 120/80. I believe the rule is 1% post, 20% comment, and 80% are just passive viewers. So you ultimately have a different engagement and not a tactile thing like a DVD.
Yeah.
Which people like.
My
wife and I still go to the corner store because it has DVD. Because go to Netflix or go to iTunes, you're like, I have no idea where to start. So
it's true.
And I'm not on tech savvy, so you could see that frustration. Now that's ultimately just we're all gonna die, and new generation of everybody's gonna be coming in, and it'll just be the standard by which people purchase things.
Yeah. Well, we grew up going to the video store.
Oh yeah, totally.
My son didn't know. We had that conversation the other day. My wife and I were talking about going to the video store. And
it was exciting.
And he was like, "What's going to the video store?" We're like, "Well, you used to have to go and rent a movie at a store." And he said, "Well, why didn't you just watch on Netflix?" He's 3.
Well, and you also, you're dating a girl. You go to Blockbuster, and you start deciding how your relationship's going to work out that evening based on what movie you're going to get. And Netflix, you're already at the house.
What was your?
You don't got to do anything.
So what was now I want the window into that. What was your strategy on your date picking out a movie at the store?
There was 2 rules, or the few rules, which basically you either got a shit movie which would give you attention quicker, or
they'd be bored by the movie.
Exactly. So are you talking and it's just a background
I did that.
movie?
I think I might have done that.
But then if you like the girl and you want to have a shared experience, you'll see it.
Or you want to impress her.
Or the test. Oh yeah, let's watch Killing Fields tonight. Or you wanted to test her and her intelligence, or maybe we should get Killing Fields tonight. See if there's any reaction to that. So it was always a fun kind of thing. And then, as your relationships grew, you went to the movie store and you couldn't decide on anything. So you just leave because there's nothing. And so it was a wonderful kind of opportunity to kind of go and visually see films, which I still don't think they've mastered correctly. Now, ultimately, you're dealing with a wider space of vision, and they've really figured out, color tones and titles and all those different things and poster design that's going to draw your attention. So that's what we're really up against, which is the psychology of selling a film now. So it's important to kind of figure that out as well, as much as it is to have a great film.
On your first question?
All right.
You can't look at me yet. Pass it over. Oh, can you bake a cake?
I can.
Yeah.
I used to bake. My grandmother taught me how to bake, and I used to bake this cake called the Lazy Susan or Lazy Daisy, which was all coconut. It was beautiful.
When's the last time you made a cake?
It's been a long time.
I expect a cake for our wrap when we finish now.
Sure. Do I have to cook it? Bake it? Or just bring it? Because I love those McCain
never
ones.
know.
The deep and delicious ones are great. That's really my favorite.
I think I'm getting deep and delicious. This will happen.
Cool.
Okay, then.
Marbled?
You may pick.
Okay, I'll chocolate. Full chocolate and chocolate.
Whatever your favorite is, you bring along.
Chocolate and chocolate.
We'll have champagne and deep and delicious McCain cake.
Yes, chocolate covered strawberries. Be very romantic. Or we'll go rent a movie together. See what happens.
I like it. There we have the film buff. Oh, this is right down the street from my house.
Don't get me started on that place.
Oh, really?
Okay, next one.
Wow. There's a story there. We're not going to talk about it. Yeah.
Oh,
Look what you did.
I didn't see it though.
It's okay. Oh, do you parallel park or drive around the block?
Parallel park. Who has time to drive around the block? Drive around the block. What, to go in?
I like to find like an easier spot.
No. No.
You just go for the first one you see?
No, you go for the closest, and then you work your way backwards.
But wouldn't you necessarily have to drive around the block for that? To go backwards? Or do you drive further, you mean?
No, I drive, further to the other side, and then I guess ultimately, or I just reverse the wrong way and,
Depending which
kilometer, and then
On
go
the
back into that
Danforth.
spot that we saw way back there. So, but yeah, I don't fear the parallel park.
But you have a motorcycle too, right?
I do.
So that's easier to parallel park. Let's be honest.
Driving in the city motorcycle is a daunting task. So
I can imagine.
It's not. The city is not advantageous to anybody on two wheels. So it's.
But I gotta imagine a motorcycle is easier than a standard bicycle.
Well, you die quicker. And you can own that space, and ultimately you're aware of your vulnerability. I think on a bike, I just zoom through I just crazy on a bike.
Oh, you're one of those assholes that just goes through the red light?
Well, I don't go through. I cautiously approach, and then if it's fine and clear, I go through.
Oh, okay. I'll allow that.
Yeah, I don't barrel through. That would just be foolish.
Well, reckless on your own part.
Yes, can't be reckless anymore.
Well, I mean, you just think. I mean, I did look at it as, especially on a bike versus a car. It's like I'm surrounded by metal. I'm going to win. I'm always going to win against a bike.
Yeah, my dad always said you can be right or you can be dead with a car and a bike.
Yeah.
Which one would you like to be?
Yeah,
and you know what I
exactly.
mean? So you don't. There's no. In motorcycles, they teach you it all the time. They just there's nothing wrong with being aggressive to get through things, but ultimately, you have to be wary of the fact that you're outnumbered by a sheer amount of torque and tonnage.
What does your wife think about the motorcycle? Does she hate that you have it, or does it turn
No,
on?
we've done a lot of we do. She rides on the back of it. I don't necessarily. I've lost 3 friends in the last year, and it's really
On motorcycles.
On motorcycles, and so it's really made me very cautious, especially in Toronto, which you hit that TTC tracks and you and hit your brakes, which I did once, and almost got hit by a bus, and it just you become more aware, as you know, of your vulnerabilities as you get older. So in LA, I drove it all the time, love it, and I actually had 2 motorcycles until I just recently sold one, and I do love it. And it's a wonderful. I actually drove from Toronto all the way to Los Angeles with my buddy for my bachelor party. We drove to Burning Man on our motorcycles. Yeah, man, for 3 weeks. Drove, camped all the way along the United States.
It took you 3 weeks to get there?
Yeah, well, we stopped for a week in Burning Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took us 3 weeks total.
2 round trip.
No, we flew back. yeah, I had to get married. I came back 3 days before my
With
wedding.
a beard like this
Yeah.
and having had a full experience.
Crazy.
That's funny. Number 3. This one doesn't apply. I have to get you to grab another one. You can look at it after if you want. Oh, what's something you got grounded for as a kid?
didn't I get grounded for? Skipping school.
Something fun.
Oh,
Go big or go home.
I was. My parents asked me to. So all I had to do in my life was pay for the insurance on the car, like my $35 a month for my
For your
part-time
Honda Civic?
my Omni, right? And so it's not because they needed me to pay for it; it's just because they
There's
thought
responsibility.
there was be something there. So my mom said, "You know, you're going to give me the check for that," and I said, "Fine, I'll write you the fucking check." And so there was like a calm that entered the house, and then like at 2:00 in the afternoon, my dad was at home from the bank, an hour, 45-minute drive away.
You worked at the bank?
Yeah, at 2:00 in the afternoon in the summertime. So, and he goes, "Craig, can I speak to you in the garage?" I was like, "Okay." And
How old are you at this point?
I'm like 16.
Okay.
I'll go deeper and younger later, but so my dad took me to the garage and he said, "You ever speak to my wife like that again, and you'll never see that car again." So I got grounded for a month. But the thing is, my parents could never keep the grounding stick because they ultimately needed me to shuttle around the brothers, right? So and they hated you moping around the house. Like, you're 16, 17 moping around a house. They don't want to be around that. Who wants to be around that? So that broke after a week or two.
How many brothers do you have?
2 brothers.
Both younger, I guess?
I'm the middle.
You're the Oreo filling.
Yes, I remember them telling me that. But yes, 2 brothers. My brother Kevin used to work at Boogie Down Productions with KRS-One and stuff in the 80s. And my younger brother Corey is a health specialist. He's a smart one.
He's the smart one.
He's
the full-time job.
Yeah, exactly.
You said you'd go younger and deeper. Is there something you got in more shit for you when younger?
Everything. Like you.
Because was that middle child syndrome? You were seeking the attention because you weren't the oldest or the youngest?
Well, the thing is, we were always 5 years apart from each other. So as much as I was a middle child, I was almost the only child to a degree because you went through a lot of things by yourself. But grounded, oh my gosh, how the past so quickly clears in your mind. I don't remember.
Next. Did you have a childhood nickname?
It's the one I always had, which is Goody.
Goody? Just because of Goodwill?
That's all. Goodwill. It's either Goodwill or just people just call me Goodwill. Or it's Goody. No one calls me by my wife, by maybe when she's mad at me, will call me Craig. My mom calls me Craigie. But usually it's Goodwill or Goody.
I've never heard anyone call you Goody.
It was a high school thing and a grade school thing.
It's the last name thing. It's like the male aggression.
What did people call you? Or what did you call yourself?
What did people call me? Oh, God. I have to tell my nicknames. In high school, I played football, and I don't know. I think I know why. No, I guess I do know why. They called me Big Dog, was my football name. They just...
Because you had sex with that giant dog that
one time. German Shepherd.
He was beautiful.
Did I have sex with him, or did he have sex with me? These are the...
Yeah, no means no.
But I think they eventually did tell me. I forgot that they told me, but it was meant to be like big defensive offensive guard. Also, I was a massive...
You went to a really smart school, right?
Well, these are the football players that came up with this shit. But I didn't know why. I probably didn't know why, because I only played football for the first 2.5 seasons, and I quit halfway through because I was also in drama.
Right.
And they were kind of happening at the same time. And my football coach said, well, you have to pick between football or drama. And I was like, well, I'm going to go do drama then, because I'm not going to do football professionally.
I used to play basketball and hockey in high school. And it just... when people got way too serious into it.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, it's like, this isn't going to be my life. It's like, I might actually have a career in this other thing, so if I'm going to do
It's not about that, it's about sticking to something.
He was so pissed that he's like, what do you mean you're leaving? I'm like, well, you gave me an ultimatum, so...
I know.
Don't give me an ultimatum.
Yeah, I remember I took film in high school, and that was a horrible experience. So.
Oh, we didn't have film. We didn't even have the
but this was literally the
thing
teacher. Remember that teacher you had that everybody was drinking with?
Yeah.
So that guy ran the films class. So literally, my major memory of that was watching We Didn't Start the Fire and document and figuring out what he was saying. Billy Joel. Like that is my literally probably my fifth most memorable moment in high school. Was that. And I got a 56 and just passed.
We had a teacher that taught a guitar building course.
That's beautiful.
It was awesome.
I was number one in my school for woodshop.
You were number one? How do you get number one?
I had the highest grades.
Oh, because of that.
Yeah. Like,
I didn't know there was a competition. It was like Craig's that guy. Nobody whittles like Craig Goodwill.
It's true.
Old goody.
True. Yeah, old goody. I loved it. I wanted to be a carpenter when I was younger. I truly think it's an amazing thing that people should still look into going into, because obviously they get paid way more than us.
My dad's a carpenter.
And
kind of.
But it's a wonderful trade, and I think I always compare filmmaking to being a carpenter, and saying, there's the fundamentals to the boxes that exist in all film. It's ultimately the trim that you put on it that makes it yours. So, yeah.
The quote by Craig Goodwill.
I think Jesus said it.
Jesus said it first?
Yeah, I think so.
Or Daniel Day-Lewis.
When he's on his Tribeca tour, I think he said
that. That was for the Scorsese film.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, isn't Daniel Day-Lewis is the cobbler, right?
Daniel Day-Lewis is Jesus Christ.
He's everything. He's a baker too, right? Doesn't he lives in France and he's a baker when he's not acting, but he's also a cobbler, I think. He makes shoes.
Yeah, anytime you get to work with your hands, it's a wonderful thing. I think it's very, my dad always talked about this idea of, he knew a guy when he was a kid, his job was to move one pile of dirt to one space or place to another in a day. And that was
his job?
It was a job. Like your constructions, you take the dirt over there.
Yeah.
Like you're just the shovel guy. And the guy, he might have been a moron, but he ultimately had great joy and satisfaction in his life because he had completed something every day, and when he was completed, he got to go home.
Done.
And that's and a lot of people don't get that. One, the gratification of that, and two, the visual representation of something being finished.
Well, it's funny because with us, especially where we're at right now, we're editing a film, so it's like you feel like at the end of the day, like today, for example, we went through the whole film and did a pass, but so it's like technically we moved the pile of dirt over. But tomorrow we're looking, we're like, oh, we forgot a fucking shovelful, and we shouldn't have moved that one there, and
yeah, I see that.
We get some completion, but it's never like it's.
But the wonderful thing is when you become aware of finite budgets and time, and you have strategies by which to get it out, you have to give yourself a time to say it's done.
Yeah,
and because you'll change the thing forever.
Well, I mean,
and you'll always think back to the things. Oh, I wish I had this. I wish I had that. It was funny. I was thinking about this while I was shoving food in my mouth before I came here, and I was just, this idea of putting it all out there. But it's if you give up the idea of perfection in your mind, whatever that is. Because nothing's ever going to be perfect in your mind. It's other people's jobs to tell you whether it's perfect in their mind, because they're the audience.
And they don't know the concessions.
They don't know that you missed a shot over here or that. They may, because it looks like you missed a shot in the film, and they're smart enough to know that. But it's what the audience doesn't know, the audience doesn't know.
Yep.
And so you can get past a lot of different things with that. So, and you have to. I think to be successful in anything, you have to let yourself off the hook and not beat yourself up all the time.
Well, that's the Lucas quote, too, is that their films aren't finished, they're abandoned. But then he goes back and refinishes his films. But I mean, I agree with you, because I know at least two filmmakers who have probably been working on their films for going into their second and third years. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what? Like, you have an endless amount of time just working your thing, but it's like, what? Don't you want to move on?
I just think that I feel like my craft is progressing so quickly that if I don't finish these things, then I'm never going to be satisfied with finishing it, because I would have improved as a filmmaker so exponentially more.
Well, you're working on it as well.
Like right now, I can't tell you the stuff I learned from doing the feature and all those different things. So, and moving forward to the next one and bringing those learnings. So if you spend too much time with something, you're just going to start trying to bring in. Again, money stops all things.
Yep.
So it's wonderful just to kind of. I never see it as being abandoned. I see it's being the fuse is only so long, and you have to move on.
I agree.
Yeah, it's like, you know, how do you know when the best take? You were mentioning that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, when time to move on. Like, you get as many.
The producer goes, hey,
or not
Craig.
even the producer, or you just think, I don't know if I don't have the time to sit here and work with the actor to if it's totally terrible, then you have to start.
Yeah, you have to keep going.
Or you start planning solutions around it to cut around them or to shoot around that point. Sometimes something's great, but there's just a little bit that's just not.
And you know you're not going to get it.
Yeah, and you don't have to, because you're like, well, I'm not even going to be on them anyways at that point, or I can cut that out and won't lose any. So you can, thinking like an editor. I always say editing is probably the most amazing thing that you can do to come into filmmaking or be a director. The challenge is most editors don't have the sociability or the social skills to communicate what they want. That's why they sit in a room by themselves most of the time. So, but they do know what they need in an edit suite. And if you can start thinking like that, it'll really help you on the floor.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it makes a huge difference. I was going to add something to that, but now I've got nothing. Question.
It's the saver.
That came out of a nickname, that
discussion?
That diatribe. That's what I like about how this works. If you could be any literary villain, what would it be? Could be from a film. Doesn't have to be literary. You can pick any.
So it'd have to be a smart.
Could be a music video.
R. Kelly.
Wow.
A literary villain. The British Empire.
You did the entire British Empire?
The entire British Empire. That's it.
Follow up to that.
Oh, they just did so much. They've left so much behind. It's a wonderful empire. Out of empires, if you're going to get ruled by one empire, Romans first, because they're pretty good.
They made the toilet.
And the aqueduct. As on my Monty Python, I know. And then the British Empire. But I'm going to get blasted for that. It's just because I'm a British football fan. Like, I'm a European football fan. So I think I would say the British Empire, both a villain, just a villain. They did very well in their villainy.
Okay, that was too short. We're going to do a bonus question.
No.
Bonus question. What's the weirdest thing you ever found in your parents' bedroom?
A box of edible underwear with 2 already out.
2 already gone?
Yeah.
How many were in the pack?
3. And next, we get a bonus one after that.
No,
is there a story after that?
So what was it? Do you remember like the details of the?
Well, my parents used to hide the power cord to the TV on us every day, because we watched too much TV. That worked out, eh? And so we always had to go find the power cord. And so that always was an exhaustive search around the house. And you always knew the 4 kind of regions. You broke the house up into regions on the graph with your brothers and worked it all out.
Divided and conquer.
Yeah, divide and conquer. And then so you always found it, but you always found other stuff too. But that was the one that burned into my brain, and I've never been able to forget.
What was it like? I'm trying to think of it.
I was happy. I was actually happy when I found it and I tried them on. I was happy about it
because you were hungry.
No, because I was like, oh, my parents have sex. How great is that?
How old were you when you found it?
I was gonna pick the house that I found that in. That would have been like 15. 16.
I don't know if I've ever actually I don't know why. When I picture edible underwear, I think it's like a fruit roll up. That's what I picture.
It could be.
I don't know, but what's it? Bonnie's making a disgusting face over there. But what was it like?
It's like these. It's like edible paper.
So it can't taste great.
Well, it's the stuff underneath that's supposed to taste better, right?
But there you go.
That's the whole point. It's not about. It's just this idea of having to eat yourself through.
You get through it.
Literally, the Craig Goodwill story.
I like it. It's good.
Yeah. That's it. How about you?
That was the weirdest thing I ever found in my parents' bedroom. I found a dildo in my mom's drawer.
It was your dad's.
It might have been. It was huge. I don't know if it was. I can't remember if I told the story already on this podcast, but I'll tell it again now. But I remember, and I don't know because I was pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably like 6 or 7, and I remember being scared because it was humongous. And I don't know if it was actually huge because it was big, or it was because I was so small. And I'm like thinking of, I'm like, what is? It's like my arm. I swear it was like the size of my arm. But again, this is like, 25 years later, I'm looking back and thinking about this, right?
Yeah. As you should.
As you should.
As one should as
well,
a
you're
son.
forcing me to bring this.
Yes,
I'm
the one who wrote the question on the piece of paper.
I'm going to go home tonight and just think I'm going to be smacked by a giant arm cock. That's going to be my dream tonight, thanks to Craig.
It's a Wednesday. It's a regular Wednesday.
Too early to have dreams like that.
Yes.
Okay, so to wrap it up, as tradition on here, you have to do one or two things. You either have to show off some kind of skill.
Are you making this up as you go
along? No, I'm not making this up as I go along. Or you have to arm wrestle me. I'm not trained as an arm wrestler. I'm not particularly good at it.
Yeah, but you're not a small dude, right?
I'm not a small dude. But it's because of my first guest made me arm wrestle them, so that's how it's become the tradition on here. I can't wait till Gordon Pinson comes on. And
I'll give him a heart attack.
He'll kick the ass out of me. That man when he was in the army. He's trained.
Yeah, which war?
Ouch.
The Boer War. He'd probably beat me too. A talent. Well, seeing how all my talents are kind of bottled up right now.
We have to do it. We can do a thumb war. We can do a thumb war instead.
No, I cheat. I'm a cheater at thumb war.
So the people that just listen to the audio cast don't get the benefit of the...
Yes, you'll hear sound of me shitting my pants because I'm really competitive.
Really?
Yeah.
This is going to get intense.
Yeah. Now, is it like over the top rules?
What's that?
No thumb grabbing, right?
No thumb grabbing? Should you just go like this? What are you, look, you're already going intense.
No. But I'm just saying there's no thumb grabbing.
What's thumb grabbing?
Over the Top by Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I saw it when I was a kid. It was combining the beauty of arm wrestling
and trucking,
kidnapping,
and raising a young boy.
Yeah.
So it's basically good film. You're the best. So basically, you can't lift. You can't. So I'll show you.
I can't.
Let's just do a regular one and see.
Oh God, we're doing this. Is
okay.
Ready?
Okay, go.
Ow! Greg's trying really hard.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't try.
Okay. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
So
now let's do it again.
Okay.
So I couldn't win. So let's do it again. Okay. And I'm gonna do this.
Oh, and that's the thumb grab.
So yeah. So I can.
Oh, so you can twist my hand around.
I can twist your hand around.
Oh,
Jesus.
Jesus.
No way I can. So that's the trick. So whenever you're in.
That's cheating. Now I know. From now on,
knowing's half the battle.
From now on, I'm going to do the thumb grab because I assume most people haven't seen Over the Top.
Everybody's seen Over the Top.
Well, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So that's that. So if you like the show, like us on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, and you can throw in little questions. I'll add them in the jar. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.